Hey, how's it going guys? My name is Artorigold, and today I'd like to go over Soldier 76 and how to use him to rank up. So this is going to be a diamond level game. I think it's actually like 3400, so kind of near the master's level. So Soldier 76 takes a lot of mechanical skill to use, but there are a lot of key points to him that you need to remember, and mostly it deals with when you want to sprint, when you want to just kind of run away, and this is actually going to get right into the first clip, and it's a pretty good example of it. So let's go ahead and watch this back. Basically, your sprint is going to be one of the best tools you can use in order to kind of just kite enemies away or run away from people, similar to any kind of escape ability, except you're going to be sprinting. So as you can see right here, the Genji is actually trying to kill us with Dragon Blade, but as Soldier 76, and as long as you kind of use a zigzag kind of run, and you make sure that you're just kind of being really evasive and you're not just running in a straight line, then you're going to be able to really throw people off. So let's go ahead and take a moment to really analyze what happens here. So I know the Genji has Blade at this point. I'm doing a little bit of poke damage. I throw a healing field. Immediately when he dashes, I know what he's going to do, right? He's going to go in for the Dragon Blade. So I start running away. He hits me with, I think, maybe one slash. And instead of running in a straight line, I decide to run through the pillars. So obviously his dash is gone, but he's going to be able to blade and dash a second time, meaning Genji can move twice very far, but only in one direction. So the best move that you can do is to make sure that you go in between these pillars, and it's really going to throw him off. This is exactly what I do. See, I see the first dash. Now I know he's going to try to do the second dash on me, and I know he's right behind me and he's doing damage to me, and he's going to probably want to dash in this direction. So you don't go that direction, and if you go left, it's very easy for him to hit that one as well. One thing about Soldier 76, I don't know why it is, but I'm sure everybody's had this issue, but Soldier 76 just is really hard to kill when he's sprinting. And one of the big things you can actually do in order to make yourself even harder to kill is to look straight down at the ground, which is going to cause your head to be a little bit lower, so people aren't going to be able to hit those headshots. So when you're running normally, you're going to look just like this, right? A stick figure. But instead, when you're running with your head down, it's going to look a little different. Your head is going to be like this. And so you're going to have maybe like this little area right here, about 10, 15, 20% of the area where you could normally hit with the head. But because you're looking down, you're not going to have that little hitbox to hit. So it makes it a little bit harder to kill Soldier 76. So make sure that you're always evasive with your sprints and never stay in the same spot. The one big difference between a Soldier and a McCree is not like, obviously things like the damage, but mostly your mobility. You are able to run away from people. You can choose your engagements. You do not have to stick in one place. You can be very mobile, not as quite, as good as Tracer, but you will be able to pull off a lot of guerrilla warfare tactics. So one thing that people actually don't know about Soldier 76's ultimate is that it actually has fall off damage. So the closer you are to the target, it's going to do more damage like normal, but the further away you are, it's going to start doing less damage and your ultimate's going to have a lot less impact. However, this can be a good thing to use it far away if the enemies like Pharah or Mercy are flying in the sky, and of course if it's a squishy, it doesn't matter too much, but if it's trying to focus down tanks from a really far distance, you would be better off just getting a little bit closer with your visor instead. So the next big thing that I want to talk about is actually the high ground on Soldier and just how important it is, but also you can kind of be sneaky and flank the enemy from some pretty surprising high ground areas. I'm going to go ahead and use this clip as an example where I basically stay, even though I'm on defense on Hanamura, I get behind the enemy team and I stay up here and I just harass them as much as possible. I might not even get like too many kills or secure kills, but the enemy team is going to have a really tough time trying to deal with me and get to me because they have heroes like Reinhardt and Zarya, and those heroes are not going to go up there and challenge me because it takes them too much time to get up here. Now, one thing about this strategy, as effective as it can be, you want to make sure that you run away as much as possible if the enemy team does try to engage on you, but you also want to be able to be cautious and know when to do this and when not to do this. So typically, you don't ever want to start the game off on that high ground. You want to do it at a point when the time has already passed quite a bit and the enemy team expects you to be at that first place that you already were. So for example, if I was Soldier 76 on Hanamura, I'd probably be somewhere on the high ground in the back over here. But after we won a fight, I can then make my way behind them and flank and make sure I crouch walk, because sometimes people can hear you if you are walking or running at full speed. So after you do that, that's a good time to move into this flank position. And you don't want to do this all the time. You want to do it maybe once or twice. And you want to make sure that you're able to get out, because if you do die, it's going to be brutal. But at the same time, you can harass them pretty heavily, because none of these heroes are going to be able to touch you. Rein and Zarya can't deal with you. Anna maybe can land asleep, but it's kind of a hard angle. Reaper's going to have to teleport up there to get you. But even if you do that, you can maybe do a lot of damage to him before he teleports. So there are a lot of things that you can do. And if you use your ultimate in this situation, it's definitely going to force abilities, or it's going to force the Reinhardt to turn around and shield, which is going to make your team move in and do more damage to the Reinhardt from the back if he does that. So it's really tough for him. So these can be really annoying flanks, and what you want to do is you want to always make sure that you go for that healer first, and then you want to try and stay alive. If the Doomfist messes up right there like he did, then you're able to get a lot of damage in. So one of the big things that I'd also like to go over in this clip is how to flank a soldier on different maps. There are a lot of different places with good high ground spots that you can get to, but because you're actually kind of fast with movement speed and people aren't going to really notice you if you're on the high ground, avoid the entire enemy team, especially in these kind of situations where the point is really close to where you need to capture, right? There's only a little bit of time left and everybody is already on the point trying to push. So if your entire team is there, then most likely nobody on the enemy team is going to be like on the high ground watching it, because they're going to be trying to contest the point. So one of the also really good moments for this flank here is that I see that the Reinhardt dies. Basically, I am good to go because there's no tank here and they're all squishies, and it's very easy to kill squishies at this distance, because at this range, you're not going to have that fall off damage from the visor, and you're going to be able to shred through them a lot quicker. So as you can see here, I'm going to immediately activate that, and I'm going to just completely melt them, and they're not going to be able to do anything about that. And then while that happens, while I'm flanking with the visor from behind, the enemy team is just going to be pushed forward from my team, and you're going to get a completely easy win from that. Now here's one big difference between a Soldier 76 and McCree, is that McCree is not going to have anything done in between activating High Noon and High Noon going off. And then you have Soldier, where even if you don't get like a 4-man kill with High Noon, you will be able to do damage and have impact in that middle section. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this too well, but basically, so you have High Noon, and at point 1 to point 2, you have the High Noon going off. And in between High Noon activating, absolutely nothing is happening in between this point. No damage, no impact, no pressure. However, if you're Soldier 76, in between this point, there is all kinds of damage happening to the enemy team, giving more pressure and impact to them until the end point where you're able to secure the kill. So there is a pretty big difference between these ultimates. Visor does more impact immediately. High Noon is more risk and more reward, but it's very hard to pull off a really big High Noon to get kills unless you get a lot of backup from your team. But with Visor, you can be pretty independent. You can heal yourself with your E, you can sprint away mid-ultimate, so you can make sure if you get one kill with your Visor, and even if you have some duration with your ultimate, you can just sprint away in the middle of it. It's not really a big deal if you do that. One big thing that you should always practice on with Soldier is to always practice your mechanics. Make sure to get a lower sensitivity that works for you, and to have your DPI at a lower setting as well. I use about 800 DPI, and in-game I have about 6 sensitivity. So hopefully you can take that information and try it out for yourself. Maybe it'll work for you, or maybe it'll just be a decent place to start, and you can kind of just adjust your sensitivity from there. So anyways, I just wanted to cover a couple of basic tips with Soldier. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.